Title of this audio file is Loneliness. When you ask yourself or others any question related to, quite frankly, it can be applied to anything, but specifically for the topic of human relations, the answers that are given to you act like a soothing balm wherein they help you feel good for some time, after which the problems come again. So, let's say, for example, you have conflicts with your girlfriend or boyfriend, you discuss about it, you say something to each other, it might make you feel better sometime. You may have sex, and while the intercourse lasts, you guys say love you to each other, after which, when the high fades, the problems come again. Or you try to convince your parents of something and they try to say that that is right for you. You guys fight, then the conflict gets so called solved over an outing or an occasion or a family lunch, after which the high goes and the conflict appears. You try to make amends with your friends, you try to tell them what you want, they try to tell you what they want, you try to come to a middle ground. That never really works out, and either you stop associating or they stop associating. So, why is it that human beings seek relations with another? If I ask this question to the psychologist or anyone, the answers that I'll get would be usually something along the lines of, we are social animals, um, we need each other for survival, we feel happy in the presence of others, these relationships make our lives more meaningful and worth living, etc. etc. But if that was true, I should not have felt lonely. If it was in my biological nature to seek companionship, why is it why is it that conflicts never disappear in a relationship? And I have come to realize, after many failed human relations, that the reason why I have questions around the periphery of this word or this feeling called loneliness is because I was fed in by the humans of the society that the natural default state for happiness slash pleasure slash self improvement slash development slash healthiness is for you to have relations with other humans. So, when that was the message that was being propagated from all corners of the world, I naturally started to expect things from other people, expect the quote love and affection from people, expect sexual gratification from people, expect someone to spend the time with, and that expectation was so deep within me that that expectation not being fulfilled became a non-negotiable for me. Uh, but the truth of the matter was, it is, it was my vehement conditioning that taught me that you must not be alone, which was the message that was propagated uh, when they say it's healthy, good for you, for the development to be around people. You are a social being, and all those messages by different words with the same meaning that I was given. Um, so the non-compromising, deep expectation and hope of friends, family, girlfriends, and all the human relations that one has been fed into the human being since day one. And because the human being since day one wants to survive, that's somewhat innate in a human being. They have no choice but to acquiesce to the status quo of the fact that you have to have friends, family, girlfriend, and all those things. Um, so, what was once a survival mechanism turned into probably one of the biggest expectation and hope of a human being. The expectation, hope that once I get these human relations, I will be forever happy. But that doesn't seem to be the case. What one gets upon associating with these people is some time away from their thoughts. They lose themselves in conversations uh, with another. This is what they seek when they talk to others. Because when they are left alone, and I must say once again, with almost every video that I say, it is not, you don't get a badge or a good sticker if you are alone, and if you are and you are not quote the stupid word called weak if you are with people. It is just that the thoughts of a human mind that never seem to shut up, that always demand more pleasure in one way or the other, or avoid pain, is so catastrophically painful that one is left with no option but to seek pleasures, one of the biggest being associating with other human beings. Is there is there a recommendation to do this or do that, to be alone or to isolate yourself, and or to be with friends and have a lot of people in your life? There is no recommendation. The only recognition which might benefit, and even benefit is not the right word because there's nothing to get from this in the traditional sense, but for a lack of better words, the only benefit a human may have is to see the nature of things the way they are, because upon seeing the nature of things the way they are in context to relations, human relations, why do people make them? They perhaps might see through the onus of expectation and hope they may put on another person, which is their own deep need for happiness. So, in I'm not suggesting anything, I'm just stating the fact here that when one imposes their expectations and needs on another, they simply are not aware of the fact the other person cannot fulfill their hopes and expectations, not because the other person is bad, um, but because you have expectations and hope. Uh, so, what bothers you is not the circumstance that you find yourself in when you are left alone. What bothers you is the hope and expectations that was conditioned inside of you, which convinced you that that is natural, that is your default state to be with people. And when that overwhelming second nature of yours to absolutely radically want other people gets even a little bit tormented uh, in the form of failed relations, you are tormented, and then you'll go seek out answers from people about how do I not feel lonely, where are my good friends, I've had bad friends, where are the good guys, I've only had bad guys, why don't parents listen to me, and all those things. And you'll be given answers which will not solve your problem, simply because you haven't understood uh, that your degree of suffering in the context of human relations is somewhat directly proportional to the hopes and expectations you have from another. And even the possibility of that hope and expectation to quote lesson, though I hate the word lesson because there is no PowerPoint presentation or method I'm teaching you to how to not expect. That is a stupid question. It is to see the nature of what you're expecting and to see if the other person can truly fulfill your expectation, as opposed to the silly and ridiculous game of asking yourself, how do I not feel lonely?